Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've already done one unboxing, but I've been waiting to unbox this, and I've waited to a bit closer to Halloween to do it. This deck is called the Tarot of Vampyres and by Ian Daniels, and I've heard so much about it because of the book accompanying it. I've seen a lot of people say they love it and a lot of people say they're not really into it, but the book was good, so I thought I'd give it a go myself and see what I think. The box is quite sturdy and I haven't even opened it yet, and at the top it says Body, Mind and Spirit Divination Tarot. So I like that it's incorporated the divination part of tarot, because some decks don't really do that and they just use it as a tarot tool, like a reading tool, and some people don't associate tarot with divination, whereas I do. So I like that that's incorporated. And it says, embrace the night as you succumb to visions of blood red roses and feel the impassioned rhythms of your feverish pounding heart. The vampire legend is rooted in the darkness and the seduction, and its eternal message in one of the spiritual hungers to taste the divine. Featuring Ian Daniels' richly evocative gothic style artwork, this hauntingly romantic deck is a tool for spiritual awakening, which I really like that as well, that he said it's a tool for spiritual awakening, because it can come in so many different forms. So I'm quite interested to start using this deck, and I probably will do as we get closer and closer to October. With it you can plumb the depths of your inner shadows and emerge in the radiant light of the truth. So I'm actually studying at the moment to become a shadow work practitioner, so maybe this is one of the decks that I will incorporate into that sort of reading. Inspired by the Rider-Waite structure, so we all know and love the Rider-Waite way of doing tarot, we know it very well. The deck shows the full Priestess and other traditional figures, while the suits bear unique names that call forth the mysterious and macabre. I don't know how to say that word, to be honest with you. Sorry. Scepters, growls, knives and skulls. The companion book provides detailed card meanings, creative exercises, original spreads and instructions for creating your own vampire character. Well, that's interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. No one needs to see it, so I'm going to do it off camera. Alright, so it says it is a 78 card deck, which is what we're used to seeing, and a 312 page book. That's a lot. So let's get into it. How does this open? Aha, magnetic. Yes, I'm all about the magnetic flap. And inside we see this lovely, let me move this over, lovely picture of a rose with thorns going through it. And then the book on top. I like it when they have the string as well, so I don't, because I've got long nails, I don't have to faff around trying to get it out. And yeah, this is a pretty meaty book. Let's have a look through the book quickly. And the reason that I'm being a bit dodgy with reading this, because I'm doing it sideways, I'm using a new tripod, so. So let's have a look what's inside. This is a big book for a tarot deck. It's not the little white booklets that we are used to seeing. So it's got all different parts to it. It's got an introduction, a background about the cards, awakenings, card spread and exercises, personal card portraits, and then it goes into the cards, major and minor. So it's got two different parts. So first, this is going to be a lot of reading surrounding the background of the book and all about, yeah, look, court cards it delves into, which I know a lot of people actually have trouble with court cards, so that would be quite good for people that do. I've seen this a lot of times. It's a tree of life spread, and then they're going into the meanings behind each cards, alchemy and kindred spirits, and then we're on to the awakening. That's really interesting. This is all about, it looks like a chart. Maybe it's to work out your birth card. And then we're on to the major arcana. It starts with the Fool, and there's quite a lot on the Fool. Wow, there is a lot. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages on the Fool. So that's quite a lot. So if we're going to be looking about that for each one, or there's less on the Emperor. And it has a shadow part, which I like, because obviously as I've just said, like, I'm really into shadow work at the moment, and I like it that it's incorporated into the book as well. And then you flip through and it's going to go into the minors. Not yet. Yeah, like 2 of scepters, and there's quite a big bit on the minors as well. Yeah, there is quite a lot on the minors as well as the majors, so it's not like they've neglected the minors, but some people do. I know some people only read with the majors, so it's nice when it's not just focused purely on that. And then we've got the cards. As you can see, it's a nice rose on the back. I'm going to take the film off because it's getting a bit glary. Right, these are very glossy cards, and they're actually quite small. I'm used to having quite large decks in my hand. So for these being quite small, it's good for people with smaller hands. They are very glossy. As you can see, they're slipping and sliding all around the place. So let's get started. So we have the Fall. And this is quite a different depiction of the Fall. You still have the dog, but we also have a couple of different symbols along the bottom as well. I'm just going to open the curtain a tiny bit more to see if we can get a little bit more light. That's better. I've never seen a Fall depicted in this way before, so this is quite interesting. The roses are still incorporated like the original Ride Away, but we also have a bird in the background, which gives me quite a lot of Odin vibes with that. We have a skull on a cross, which looks like a grave. It actually looks like he's standing on top of a grave. So maybe this is depicting the start of the journey that you have before you die. It'd be interesting the amount of different energy you can pick up on, so you could pick up on different ways of interpreting the card. We have the Magician. Well, the Magician is more traditional to Ride Away, where we got every suit of the deck incorporated into it. There's also a few more bits of imagery, like the red behind his head. There's quite a lot of red in the Magician card normally. We have the Priestess. So it's not the High Priestess, it's the Priestess. She's sitting down, which is quite traditional. She has the book, but it's floating, giving it a more gothic vampire vibe. She's depicted in white here with a black rose. The moon is, they have an actual moon in the background, which I really like, the authenticity of that. But she also has a moon, not tiara, that's not the right word, but headband, which I really like that, because it's I think it's a pagan symbol or a witch symbol. I'm not too sure. I'm not really that into to witch traditions, to be quite honest. But you also have the 3 arrows sticking out of her back, which obviously the card is normally number 3 in most decks, and you have a black candle as well. I'll have to look up the meaning of black candles, because I'm sure that'd be significant. Next we have the Empress. And the Empress is also known like a Mother Earth, and a very and she's got not got a fruit on her dress, but she's got fruit behind her and above her head, which is staying again quite traditional. This is a completely different way that I'm used to seeing the Empress. So although it's sticking to the Ride Away tradition, there are quite a few telling differences, like even down to the little bee or wasp on the fruit, which spirit animals can, wasps or bees all work together, which can be a symbol of like family working together. So I like that these little intricate details that have been put in there. Next we have the Emperor, and there is the ram's head still in there. Again, we've got another bee or wasp on a bit of fruit. So that ties the two cards together really nicely, like in the Fool's Journey. They're like mother and father. So I feel like they're sticking really quite true to that part of tarot. There is blood dripping from a rose, which I find very different. And we also have a bit of astrology in there with his necklace. As you can see, they have the ram's head, which is depictive of, I want to say Aries. I'm sure it is Aries. So that's very nice. The ram's head has got a heart, and it's showing that there is still quite a bit of love there, even though he's quite a truthful character. His eyes are really red, which shows there is a different side to this card. And I'm looking forward to going through the book and seeing what it says about the shadow side of the card, and why maybe that would give me more details into why he's been depicted in this way. We have the Hermia. Now the Hermia traditionally has people in front of him, which we see again, but this lady is like kneeling in front of him. I actually really do love this card, because the Hermia for me is someone that is very head of the conformist or tradition, or I want to say cult because I'm looking at this card, but that's not the right word. But you can see him here. He's got horns on his head, and he's got the cloak, which is very depictive of being like in a cult and ahead of a cult and not showing the face. We have a blue candle in this one, which I'm quite interested to see the colour candles, if they have any if they match up nicely to what the card means. We also have a blue rose as well. So blue is obviously symbolic of something to do with this card. We have the Taurus sign on this one, so it's really incorporating into the astrology side of tarot. We have a wolf, which wolves can be lone people, but head of packs also. So there's two different ways you could read that. They have the Star of David, which is was on King Solomon's chest, and they have a pentacle as well. The Lovers. Now I've seen this card depicted in so many different ways, and again we've got imagery of a moth with a skull on its back, and again another horoscope sign. I really should have looked up my horoscope signs. I want to say this is Pisces, but I'm not 100% sure. So if I get it wrong, please do forgive me. But you can see this is getting more into the vampires with the love bites. No, the wound marks on their neck. You've got a red heart and a green heart. There's a lot of different imagery here when it comes to colours. You have a red rose, which is passion, love, and then you also have white roses, which is friendship. Because so there's two different ways again of reading this card. Is it friendship? Is it love? Like, what does the moth stand for in this card? I'm really actually excited to read the book, which I don't really read tarot books. I like to read quite intuitively, but because of the different symbols that they are giving, I'm actually really going to look forward to getting into this. Right, we have the Chariot, and instead of two animals, we actually only have one. We still have the strong man standing on top. He's actually got a Cancerian sign on his chest, and there's the 69 sign on the Chariot as well. So this is really, really incorporating astrology. And I just looked at the next card briefly, and that has it as well. Yeah, so you only have one animal here, but we still have the strong man on top of the Chariot. The animal here is quite fierce, and I actually read the Chariot as quite a fierce card. I like the incorporation of the moon as well, and the animal is still winged. Here we have Justice, and you can see they've still incorporating the balancing on top. And like I said, there's another sign here for astrology. I'm not too sure what it is, and I'm not going to embarrass myself further. Justice, I like that it's a woman, okay, and she's holding a sword like there's bloody, like she's gone and got her own justice and taken it kind of in her own hands. Is that a black moon as well? It looks like a black moon on top in between the scales as well. Then we have the Hermia. Now the Hermit kind of normally is on his own, and it's really represented again in the wolf, being a lone wolf. But this time he's kind of like dragging skulls along with him. Maybe they're the question, like I see the hermit as like inner knowing and questioning everything that you know. Maybe they're the questions, maybe they're the, like his skeletons in his closet that he really needs to open up. He's got the sign on the cross here, the astrology sign, and I really like this card. It's not quite a traditional hermit card. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune, but they've just called it Fortune. And again, like this, here's different colour imagery coming into it all around it. The Wheel of Fortune is quite a boring card for me, to be honest with you. Like, I've never really seen one and gone, oh, I really love that. I'm still yet to find a deck where I fall in love with the Wheel of Fortune, and it's not happened. I do like the card. It's very simple, which that's what my bugbear is with the Wheel of Fortune. It's such a simple card. No one really does much with it, and that is actually my issue. But yeah, I like it. If I can remember all the different colour symbols, which I'm sure it come to me in a reading, because one of them will stand out to me more, and I'll go, oh, that is because of this. Like orange for luck, red for passion, pink for love, gold for success. See, I can't remember, but I'm sure it stand out to me more when I'm doing a reading, because I can pick up the energy that's coming off that person. So I do like that they've incorporated the colours to kind of stand out. And then the fawns, like rows between fawns, and there's just so much imagery going on. Strength. Right, so she's not opening his mouth, she's standing next to him, but she has got him chained. I'm not too sure if I like him being chained, because strength to me signifies that you can do things differently. Everything doesn't have to be done with brute force. And I'm not 100% sure that I like that she's kind of tamed him to the point. She hasn't tamed him to the point where he can freely walk next to her. So this is one thing that I've actually found that I don't like. She's holding a cup in her hand as well, which I can't remember that being in any other deck that I remember. Because to me, it's like strength is like doing things with love, finding the best way for the situation. It doesn't all have to be brute force. I like that the moon is shining down on her, and I do like the cup imagery in it. I just really don't like that chain, but that's just personal preference, I'm sure. The Hanged Man. So it's quite typical, like the Hanged Man is always hanging upside down, but today he's on a cross, he's on a crucifix. There's lava, by the looks of it, pouring out of his mouth into they look like tree roots to me. There's a snake wrapped around him. This is quite typical, but quite different all in the same. No, not too sure about that one either. We have Death. Now this is a different way of viewing death. Death card to me is one of the best cards in the deck, but this one looks quite dark, which most of them do, to be fair, even though it is a good card. We've got another astrology sign in the skull here. Again, we've got the imagery of the snake wrapping around. We've got, it's just a very different take on it. I'm trying to think of things I'll pick out. I like that we've got some dead flowers, and then we've got some fresh flowers signifying like transition and old into new things coming in, because the new is coming from the top. I actually think I do like this card. I weren't too sure when I first looked at it, but it's actually growing on me the more I look at the imagery. Right, we've got Temperance, and we have got her filling up the water with her cup, but we haven't got one kind of balancing it out. Instead, we've got an arrow in her hand, and we've got the astrology sign on it. It looks like a cauldron to me. We've got the typical wings going on. It's a very different depiction, but I like the door in the background. I'm sure that's going to shout out to me during the reading, that the door's really going to stand out, and it's going to bring a depth of meaning to the card that I haven't really had before. I feel like this deck is going to show me things that I've never really, like meanings that I've never really put to these cards because of the imagery. Even though it's using the Rider-Waite system, I do feel like I'm going to have more tools in my arsenal after using this. We have the Devil. And they have the typical 2 people with him, but they're both females by the looks of it. I don't know, the one at the top actually could be... No, I think I can see a little booby underneath the arm. The people are not chained in this, are they? It doesn't look like they're chained, so it looks like a bit more free will when it comes to this card. Again, we've got like a cauldron-y thing bubbling in the background. We've got a horned devil with a astrology sign on his necklace. This interpretation still screams to me like temptation, addiction. The only thing that's missing is chains, because the chains are quite important to me. I don't think it will bother me though, because they are kind of still attached to him, like physically attached. They're touching him, whereas in the original Rider-Waite they're chained to something in front of him, not actually him. So I'm sure that will bring a different depth of meaning as well. The next card, we have the Tower, and instead of people falling from it, we actually have someone freely riding away on their horse from the tower. And the tower's not actually falling down either. We have got trees growing up here. We've got a load of fog at the bottom. Oh, in the background there's another tower that's actually been hit by lightning, which... So there's 2 towers in this, and it's like a natural disaster's happening. I like that they've actually let the person get away on his own free will, and he's actually chose to get out there before it happens. So that again is going to bring more meaning to the readings and a different way of actually reading it. It looks like there's like a figure in the clouds. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like an angel. So maybe I like the tower, meaning that the tower has to fall in order to rebuild it and build a solid foundation. I also like in the Fool's Journey where the tower has to come down to kind of get rid of the temptation from the devil. So I like that this card depicts that there's an angel actually helping with that in the clouds, sending that lightning down to help you take down the devil, take down the tower. We have the Star. The Star has got the typical 2 cups. One's higher up than the other. One's feeding dead flowers, which I actually like that imagery. I've never seen really another person in the back of the Star card with the candle. We have got the Star in the background, and there is a lot of Star references throughout these cards. I do like how she's holding the cups and how she's pouring them, and I like it that at some point she's pouring them on things that don't really need it anymore. That's a reminder to let go of things that no longer need your energy, like stop filling up a well that's gone dry. All you're doing is harming yourself. We've got another astrology sign and another cloaked figure. The Moon. Oh, I like this. It's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like something of the bride. I can't think of the not the film, but what you would call this. Zombie bride. But it's not a zombie because she's a vampire. It will come to me. I love that the moon is absolutely huge in this picture. It has a massive presence, and there's all sorts of shapes and stuff in the moon, which I'm sure during readings that some sort of shape is going to jump out at me, and I'm going to go, wow, that is huge. I've never seen her holding a weapon before. That's new, but I do like this card. And again, her necklace is another star sign. Oh, the sun. This is very, very different. We have a skull candy in the sun. We actually have her kissing, which looks like another devil. Is it? I want to say Pan, but again, like I said to you, my witch knowledge is not great, so I'm not gonna insult anyone that is a witch by claiming to know all this stuff. I really like this because normally in the sun we see a baby riding a horse or something along them lines. And it's all about the light getting rid of the cobwebs and blazing out the shadow. And I feel like this is her embracing her shadow, embracing that side of her that she's kept hidden. Like she's done her shadow work, like she's incorporated her shadow into her person. Now she's whole. I really, really like this card. This is one of my favourite Sun cards that I've ever seen. This has actually sold the deck to me completely. We have Judgment. Now, this is a very different depiction of judgment as well, because we haven't got people coming out of coffins and being reborn and renewed and facing the crosses that they have to bear. We actually have someone on their cross that they may have to bear. I like that. But this is very different. It's again, we've got this looks like a panther this time, and I'll have to look up the meaning of panthers, because it's completely gone out of my head, which I'm normally really good at spirit animals, but for some reason it's just not coming to me. Next we have the World. Now the World is another card that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like this one. The World is a very boring card for me, because normally we see a woman in the middle of a circle with some like infinity signs and all. We've still got the two corners. One's got a bird in it and one's got, which looks like, I'm not too sure. I don't know if you can see that in the corner. I'm not too sure what it is. I don't want to take it completely off cameras for me to look at it. Ah, it's actually a wolf with a rose in its head. Oh, that is beautiful. I like that. Trying to see. Yeah, you can see that. I do like that. That might have just sold the card to me. Forget the woman. I like the wolf. She again's got a panther behind her. She has got 4 animals. I'm lying, because there's a snake, there's a raven, there's a wolf, and there's a panther. They're just not in the corners. They're actually incorporated into the image a bit more. I thought I'd just see a lion in there somewhere as well, but it's gone again. This card might actually grow on me, because I actually like the wolf. Not too sure about anything else. I like that she's embracing the snake, and the snake's not taking over her. She looks like she's kind of in control of this. Right, now we're on to the minors. We've done the majors. Right, so the first card we've got is the Ace of Sceptres. Now, ace cards are always celebration cards for me. They're always like the start of something new. I would prefer the roses to actually be like buds, not yet open. That to me would more symbolise a start of something rather than it coming fully open. That's the only negative really I've got about that. We've got the Two of Sceptres. It's not really screaming much to me, to be honest. We've got, is it Virgo? No, Aries again. So, oh, we've got a few different. There's one, oh no, that's like a man or woman. I always get them wrong as well. I'm sure that's a man sign. So maybe they need us to know it's a man. It's not really giving me much to really pick on to read out. I'm not too sure if I like that. We've got the Three of Sceptres. We've got the incorporation of the boat, the water, the ram's head again. She looks kind of like she's contemplating. She's got one single rose in her hand. I prefer this card a lot more, to be honest with you. We've got the Four of Sceptres, and we're back to the symbolism of the candles. We've got 4 red candles in this one. We've also got her. She looks kind of like she's in a ring of something. So she looks like she's doing some sort of ritual, some sort of a spell of some sort. I'm not too sure. I'll have to read about that. Oh, I like this. Five of Sceptres. She's actually holding a burning cross up to a panther. And she's got leaves all blown around it, which give me really like big autumn vibes. So maybe like if this was incorporated into the reading and someone's asking like when this sort of thing will happen, I'll say, well, when the leaves are falling in the autumn. She's kind of like fighting off this panther. She's gone from standing next to it, or someone standing next to it, to kind of like, no, go away. We've got 6 of Sceptres, and again we've got another panther in there. The panther's quite bloody. He's kind of just holding up his sceptre, like they've tamed the beast from the last one, or it's his beast and he's got him back. Maybe the panther from the last one's ate the girl. The crucifix didn't work, and now he's gone back to his owner and gone, I've done the deed. That's quite dark, sorry. We got the 7 of Sceptres. What's she doing? We've got another symbol down here. And again, it's big autumn vibes, this suit, by the looks of it. There's a lot of oranges and reds. She looks like a bit of a banshee because she's screaming off into the woods. 8 of Sceptres. There's a lot of conflict. He looks like he's going down to the fight. This reminds me of the wands. There's also an arrow pointing to like a red panther carving thing in the stone. And I like the imagery of the sun going down, like the vampires can come out and the sun's going. Again, we've got another Taurus sign. I know that sign because it's mine. And he's coming down with his scepter, ready to jump into battle with whoever's below him. We've got the 9 of Sceptres. Now, she looks like she's listening out for the siren. Again, we've got the incorporation of the roses. I should look more into their tattoos as well. She's got another sign on her necklace. There's a lot of symbolism in these cards. I've got to give it to the author and the illustrator. Again, we've got the moon in the background. And she's kind of just like, hello, who's there? She's very seductive and sultry. And I love the red hair as well. Oh, we've got another red hair beauty here. And this is the 10 of Sceptres. She's kind of like doing the splits, and she's got a, I'm not going to tell you what people around my way call this, a tattoo at the bottom of your back, but she's got some crosses, some scratches on her back. So maybe this is like the 10 of Swords. I'm not 100% what suit this is actually depicting, to be honest with you. I have to have a look. I've got a mask in the top right hand corner near my finger. She's holding a burning scepter. There's not much to take from that. Oh, we've got like a spark, like a firework sort of going on there. I'm sure that would jump out at some point. And there's a cross over whatever this is. I don't know if you can see it because I can't. My eyesight's absolutely terrible. Right, we haven't got a knight or a page. Oh, I don't know if that is. We haven't got a knight or a page. Instead, we've got a Lord of Sceptres. And he looks like the man that was charging away from the tower, and you've still got the lightning in the background, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's the same figure. And he looks like he's just going off to fight. He looks quite evil himself, but he actually looks like he's on the way to rescue someone. You've got the fire breathing horse, never seen that before, and it looks like they're jumping out of lava. I quite like this. We've got the Queen of Sceptres. She looks very chilled, very in control. The panther's not bothering her. It looks like it's her pet. He's clawing a statue, sharpening up them claws. Is she? I like the red imagery in this and the roses around the scepter. Prince of Sceptres, so we've got a prince instead. Oh, and then we've got a daughter. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. He looks very like he works out. You've got the sun disappearing in the background again, like it's time for the vampires to come out. There's not too much going on in this picture either, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure I like this. There's not a lot that I can really pick on. And we've got the daughter of Sceptre. She looks like she could be a bit of a handful for her mum and dad, because she looks like she's she looks like she's very like boss, in control, like knows herself and is comfortable with her own body, comfortable with who she is. I do like the imagery of that, like it's very empowering, like woman empowerment sort of imagery. Right, so this definitely looks like cups, and it's the Ace of Grouse again. I don't like that the roses are in full bloom. I'd rather them be buds, so it signifies the start. But maybe this has a completely different meaning in this deck, I don't know. The green imagery is very, I think that's going to be a theme throughout this suit. 2 of Grouse. So this is kind of like the soulmate, initial love sort of card. The red candle next to it shows the passion. You've got pink flowers signifying love. We've got a growl with a heart on it, signifying love again. We've got another star sign tattooed on his arm. she does look at, she's looking at him like she actually wants to eat him, to be honest. And he's kind of like all in love. We've got water spilling out of the statue behind, which again, water signifies like flow and change. And again, we've got the moon. I like it that the moon's incorporated in this quite a lot. I think he's holding, I don't really know what he's holding. It kind of looks like a snake, but it's not. But it's not a part of her dress either. I'm going to have to look further into that. See here, the roses at the bottom are like budding, and then as they go up, they're getting larger and larger. I like that. Next, we have the Queen of Grouse. Oh, this is like a friendship card to me, like a sisterhood card. But here it's like they're sharing a man, the sisterhood at the height of heights. You know what I mean? We've got like a crest in the background. We've got a serpent on his back. It's funny how I've said snake every single time it comes to this card. I'm like, serpent. We've got a boat in the background on water. I like that sort of imagery. She's pouring out, looks like poison at her cup. Maybe at one point she thought, I'm not really too sure if I want to be part of this throuple. But now she looks like she's changed her mind. She's pouring it on the roses instead. We've got some dead roses by the looks of it in there. It's incorporated as well. Ooh. We've got the Four of Grouse. Look at the power coming off of that cup in the top left-hand corner. I like that. He's biting her arm and she seems to be doing a backflip of some sort. It's like she's been dragged off her bed. She's got a moon necklace on. I like that. I don't know if she's consenting or not to this, but it looks like she's... I'm not too sure whether this is... It looks like she's enjoying it, to be fair. He has a another necklace with an astrology sign on it. I'm not too sure about this card. I do like the cup. Oh, we've got a mermaid. We've got the Five of Grouse. Now she's kind of pouring blood into a pond. Oh, if you look into the pond, like there's a reflection of her and she looks completely different. Like maybe she's trapped or she has two different points of view. Maybe she's got split personality, or maybe that's a siren waiting for her to come back. You have another astrological sign on the fountain that's cracked behind her. She's holding I want to say pentacle. There's 5 in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, pentacle. She looks very lost in this card, and I think the reflection of herself is depictive of that as well. Her tail seems to trail all the way back there as well. We've got the Six of Grouse, another serpent. And we've got another astrological sign again on the stem of the cup. She looks like she's a sophisticated vampire. Don't suck blood. I drink it from a nice cup. She's looking out the window, maybe doing some really like reflection work. Her hair's blown back though, so I don't know if she's actually moving or not. I like this card. We've got the Seven of Grouse, which is giving me major Medusa vibes. There's a cauldron-y looking thing in front of her with a face screaming on it, like she's trapped someone in there. She's actually got another serpent in her hand as well. She has got another astrological sign hanging from her bra. Yeah, this is giving me major Medusa vibe. And the hair is actually snakes as well. I've just actually seen the faces of them. I like the light of the end of the tunnel imagery there. It's a green light, which is very different. Yeah, this is a very interesting card. You've got fruit on the tree behind. I don't know if you see, it's my fingers in the way. You've got fruit here, which is like Adam and Eve vibes as well. So we're going like way back with this card. Oh, he's a serious looking guy. 8 of Grouse. He is wearing a mask, so I like that depiction of wearing a mask. The statue in the background again is holding a growl. It's got a lot of energy flowing out of here. We have a castle in the background with loads of green lights, and he's kind of standing there chained. See, we're back to my imagery of the chains. I love this. Love the imagery that it gives off. We've got he's chained holding the cup, and there's another astrological sign on the cup and on his chest as well. He's giving me major death vibes and the devil at the same time. We've got 9 of Grouse. We're back to kind of like, we're back to a kind of romantic vibe here with another astrological sign tattooed on his arm, and she's holding, or they're both holding a green rose. She kind of looks pregnant in this, and we have a cup with a moon on it, and that's again giving off a little energy, and then we've got some green apples in the background. This is quite a romantic. This to me is that she's pregnant and they're celebrating a pregnancy. We've got the moon in the background. I love that cup here. That is a very beautiful card. We've got the 10 of Grouse. She's happy on her own. She's got a couple of signs on her cup. I'll have to look into the 2 of them. And she's got a moon necklace on. She's laying on a bed of white flowers, but it has thorns as well. So there's a softness and a harshness to this. She looks kind of content and happy with herself all alone. Like, I don't need no man sort of vibes. Sorry, this is bugging me. We've got Lord of the Grouse. Is he holding Medusa's head? He looks like he's holding Medusa's head. So poor Medusa's gone now. We've gone through the Grouse and she's gone. He's on his noble steed, running into battle, but it actually looks like he's running from battle because he's won and he's coming home and he's all victorious. He's got his cup in his hand. He's got blood dripping down off the head. He's all proud of himself. I do like the imagery that the legs are a different colour because he kind of blends into the horse, which is in a very like strong war pose. We've got the lightning in the background, so maybe he's the same guy coming from the tower, and the other card that we see him in, and we've got the moon slightly in the background with above mountains, and mountains is a very good symbol for overcoming things as well. We've got the Queen of Grouse. She's a very sure of herself woman. I like her. She's tamed the snake. The snake's kind of like doing her bidding. She's sitting there like, yeah, I'm a boss. I've kind of completed this set of Grouse. I'm at the top of my game now. I like her vibes a lot. We've got the Prince of Grouse. He's very like, he looks kind of romantic, to be honest with you. You've got the moon peeking out in the background. He looks like he's on the quest for love, that he's kind of like had his lover stolen from him. He's giving me very romantic vibes with that blazer and shirt peeking out from it. He's also got the growl in his hand with a heart on it. He looks like the romance vampire, if that's a thing. We've got the Daughter of Grouse. Her face doesn't look very happy though. Maybe maybe it's the Prince of Grouse's lover and they've been separated from each other. And she's kind of waiting for him to come rescue her. She's got like a crown of flowers that are budding on her head. It's funny how we've got to the end of it and now the flowers are budding, but at the start of it with the ace cards, they're in full bloom. That really just doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. Now we're on to Ace of Knives, which kind of looks like a sword. This is going to be a yellow theme by the looks of it. Again, I'm not going to go through the buds with you, but yeah. We have the Two of Knives that looks like the Two of Swords with the decisions, and we're back to like traditional Rider-Waite with the blindfold around. It's quite a traditional sense of the card, to be honest. Ooh, Three of Knives. We've got a couple of ravens floating about. We've got a rose with blood coming from it. She looks like she's been scorned. She's not looking too happy. It's snowing as well, which really makes the colours of the blood pop. I actually like this card because she's kind of like weak in a sense, but strong, because the rose is bleeding, which must have some good symbolism behind it as well. We have the Four of Knives, and we actually have a girl holding hands with a statue of a fairy by the looks of it. Again, we've got a raven, but the raven's dead. She's actually got a knife in the raven. Wonder what that means. But, and we've got the hearts around it again. Maybe it's the same girl. Do you think that's the same girl? I don't know. Maybe she got her revenge. We've got a couple of statues in the background with like things flying off of it into the air. Are they petals? I'm not too sure. We've got an astrological sign on the knife. There's a lot of imagery going on in there that I like. We've got the 5 of knives. I like this. It's like a sleepless night. You've got, do you know when you have sleep paralysis and you feel like there's someone looming over you? This is what looks like it's looming over you. This is how it's depicted. We've got, again, blooming flowers that have already bloomed. We've got, there's another astrological sign right on top of his butt crack. I didn't know whether I was going to say that or not. But this is giving me like, oh, we've got a knife there with another astrological sign in it. There's a lot going on in this. There's a lot of symbolism I like. We've got the 6 of knives. There's not a lot going on in this picture. Again, we've got the crow or raven, whatever one you prefer, because I don't know the difference between the two, to be honest with you. And the sun in the background setting. There's not much to say about that one. We have the 7 of knives. I like her wings coming off the back, and she's dressed quite smartly. She has the moon on her arm. There's a skull in the not skull, mask in the background with wings on it as well. The knife's kind of like pointed out, and there's blood on the floor behind her, like she's just killed someone behind her. In the window we have a star that I'm not actually aware of, don't know anything about. I've never seen this before in my life, but you can see the stars and the moon behind her. It looks like she's going into a vault. Maybe she's killed like her old husband, and so now she's going to take all his money. She's got like widow vibes. Ooh, I like this. We have the 8 of knives, and he's got lilies and he's standing in a pond. His knife is actually chained to him, like he can't sit down, otherwise he's going to hurt himself. He looks like he's been chained to a pole, and there's 2 others in the background. I don't know if you can see it, and they're actually skeletons. So maybe that's the fate that he's awaiting. Maybe that's how he's going to turn out. We've got, again, crows or ravens in the background, and this looks more like the sun, but I'm sure it's probably the moon. It's just giving off a yellow hue that is running, like the theme running through this suit. That's the word I'm looking for. We have the 9 of knives. Now she, again, looks like a bit of a bride. She's got blood splattered up the wall, like there's going to be someone behind her, and she's got a necklace with an astrological sign on it. There's 2 hooks hanging up, and the moon is absolutely huge in this, and we're back to having like this moth slash insect on her dress. I hope in the book that it actually tells me what that is symbolising. We have the 10 of knives, and she's been stabbed in the heart, and she looks like she's awaiting her fate of death. Again, we have a necklace with an astrological sign, and we're back again with this symbol. I'm hoping it brings more of a depth. We've got a black candle with cobwebs over it, and we've got cobwebs actually everywhere in this. It's like she's been waiting a long time for this. We have loads of dead roses over the bed, like she's met a lover and he's killed her off. And you have like a cat on the bedpost with, again, another astrological sign in there as well. We have Lord of the Knives, and this time the Lord of the Knives is actually on a white horse with lightning coming down, and he looks like he's actually racing through the skies. It doesn't look like he's actually on Earth. He looks like a kind of god. He's got his face covered, and there's lots of white coming off him, and his sword looks like he's charged by lightning, and the horse has got white coming out of his nose and his eyes. This kind of gives me god vibes, like Greek mythology, sort of Zeus kind of vibe. We have Queen of Knives. She's quite traditional, sitting on a chair. She's all bloody and holding a knife completely incorrectly. Health and safety issues right there. And she has a crow or raven behind her back. She is kind of like, yeah, strong-headed, independent, which is quite traditional to the Rider-Waite system of the Queen of Swords. She actually gives off quite a lot of that sort of symbolism. Oh look, it's the same man from he's the Prince of Knives, the same man from the last suit. He looks like the same anyway, and this time he's holding a pink rose and he looks like he's still waiting for his loved one. The bird's actually flying off and left him. No, the bird's had enough. He looks like he's screaming when I first looked at it, but now I looked at it and he doesn't actually look like he is. So I feel like this is a card that's going to change with whomever I'm reading and the energy surrounding it. Daughter of Knives, she's giving off a really goth vibe. She looks like a bad girl. She's got white roses laying in the snow. There's a lot of snow in this suit. She's got the big black boots on, and she's just ready to cut anyone that stands in her way. I like her. She's got barbed wire toe. Alright, Ace of Skulls, and again we've got the full bloomed roses, which I really don't like. But this skull is actually a vampire skull, which is completely new thing for me. But yeah, it's quite the ace cards are quite the same, to be honest. And you got the Two of Skulls. So this is very thought-provoking as she's looking in the mirror, but it's kind of looks like a completely different person looking back at her, like reflection time. Got the roses on top of her. Like a box that has a key in it. Maybe there's stuff waiting to be found out inside. There's choices to be made. We have a horned skull at the top there and a skull at the bottom with an astrological sign on it. I do like this card because I like reflection and looking into things a bit deeper, and that's the sort of vibe I'm getting off of it. You've got the Three of Skulls. This, we're back to, like, she's got a thread and she's weaving it, and there's a spider in the corner, and spiders, this thing's going on there she's not too sure about. There's a horned skull again, and there's purple imagery on below it with an astrological sign. I do like this very Rumpelstiltskin vibes, weaving that into, looks like diamonds, sort of, because it's glistening. We've got the Four of Skulls. Again, we're back to having two people. We've got the skull up here with the star and he's emblazed into it. He's holding an axe. This is the first time I've seen an axe in these cards. He looks like he's kind of protecting her, and she looks like she's going to let him, to be fair. She's got another tattoo of an astrological sign. You've got the purple roses in the bottom right hand corner. He's very chiselled and ready for action. I like the moon really small and peeking behind the clouds back there, and she's holding something like a cross in her hands, and there's a building in the background with a cross on it as well, so there's quite a few crosses in this one. We've got the Three of Skulls, and we've got a werewolf over the top of this lady who's bleeding and very, very white. We've got pink roses and purple roses in this one, and a headstone with two astrological signs in it, which I know one of them's Taurus. I like the moons being big because the werewolf's coming out. It's very symbolic of when you would see a werewolf, and the skull behind on a cross. It looks like they're over someone's grave. Maybe it's hers. We've got the Six of Skulls. I love the dog. He looks like the most happiest dog that's been throughout this whole deck. She's holding the skull, and it's kind of like embezzled on her. It's a pendant on a chain by the looks of it. I thought it was actually on her vow, but it's not. It's something she's holding, and that's got a Taurus sign in it, and we can see the moon in her vow as well. I like the imagery of the vow of hiding, and I like that their eyes are the same colour blue, and there's blue incorporated into the skull as well. This is a very nice card. We've got the Seven of Skulls. And she's giving like Adam and Eve vibes, but / werewolf, because it looks like she's turning into a werewolf. But we have no actual moon here, which I think that should have been incorporated. She's holding on to a sundial, and she's got skulls scattered all around her. Maybe she's just turning into a werewolf, or maybe she's turning back, and that's the people that she's attacked. We have a couple of astrological signs in here as well. I like the tree that's bare. Again, it gives you like a time of year that this kind of would be around. It does look like an apple in her hand, but it looks a bit rotten. I don't know if you can see that. And she's got blood dripping from it, so maybe it's not. I'll look into that further. We have the 8 of Skulls. I like how he's got like magician vibes, where he's got the energy streaming out of his hand, and that skull looks like he's quite energized as well. He's got a timer, and he's got a book, and he looks like he's got all the elements of the the only thing that's missing from the suits is a sword, unless it's in here somewhere. And again, we've got this mask in the trees. This is another really good card, but again, like I said, it's giving me more magician feels than anything else. We've got the 9 of Skulls. Again, an imagery with the purpley blue flowers, and she looks like more of a gypsy sort of, like fortune teller. Like that was very serious. She's got the chains all around her. She looks very pristine and flowy, and she's someone I'd go to for a tarot reading for sure. We've got the cross in the background with another astrological sign in it, and the moon is again quite big in this. The skull's kind of blending in with the roots of the tree. I like that. I really do like this card. It's very pretty. We have the 10 of Skulls. That's the word I'm looking for. She's drinking from a skull. She's bossed it. She's got the red flowers. She's looking calm and collected. She's got a lot of she actually looks exactly the same as this girl. They actually look very, very similar to each other. So maybe it's the same person. Yeah, she's made it. She's sitting on a throne. I like her. Oh, we have the Lord of Skulls. Again, like all these ones on the horses seem to be running through lightning. This one looks like it's got rain in it as well, rain falling down. You can't see him. He kind of looks like, was it the Hermia that was sitting in the cloak? The horse is back to being black, and there's mountains again in the background. So he kind of looks like the same person, but now he's holding a skull. He looks like he's been victorious and claimed whatever he needed to be claimed, and he's won the battle. Got the Queen of Skulls. She's back with a more friendly looking dog. There's not too. I like the water flowing down. It looks like a waterfall in the background, but then it looks like a painting, because at the bottom you can see a bit of, like, it looks like a frame. Not too keen on this card. We have the Prince of Skulls. He is giving me more bohemian vibes. I like the imagery of it's like a butterfly / wasp. I'm not too sure what that is supposed to be. Hopefully the book can give me more of clarification for that. He's holding on to, like, it looks like a headstone with a cross with a skull on it. He has got, what is that on his necklace? It looks like a tooth, or it looks like a really miniature skull actually, with vampire teeth coming out of it. I like his little pixie ears and the flowing in the background, and the moon's giving off more of a yellow vibe along with the skull. He's got white nails. That's different. There's a lot of like symbolism in terms of colour in this deck. And lastly, we have the Daughter of Skulls, and she's back with her the blue candles back with the blue roses. I really need to brush up on. She looks like Emma Watson. I need to brush up on my colour imagery, colour symbolism. She just looks a bit lost and a bit worried, to be honest. She looks like she's doing some sort of ritual with that candle on top of the skull and the flowers all around it. She looks like she's on a mission and it's gonna happen. She's got the same sort of pendant on her necklace as the prince did as well. So I'm quite quite convinced these princes and daughters are lovers. That's the word I'm looking for. Let's see how well these shuffle. None of them are clumping together or sticking together. Oh, they're very slippery though, as you can see, where they're so glossy. The cardstock is quite bendy and it looks like it's going to take on the shape if I riffle shuffle them. I'm going to give it a go still. These are so easy to shuffle because they're small. Sometimes with big decks you can't really shuffle as well as you want to. Let's have a little riffle. And that was easy. But yeah, it's gonna make them bend, but it was quite easy to bend them back, to be fair. Hopefully I'll be back to do a review on these once I've done a few readings with them. I'm quite excited to read the book. Like I said, I don't normally do it and I will normally read quite intuitively, but I'm actually excited from the reviews I've heard about the book and the stuff that I wanted to find out about the cards. It would have been nice if these were edged, but it's not something that I'm too concerned about. Borders are quite distracting that I found out in my last video, you might find. But where they're black and they're kind of merging in with the images, it's not really bothering me that much. I think if it was white edging it would look terrible, so it was a good thing they had the borders, were in black. But hopefully I'll be back with you soon to do another unboxing and another reading. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.